How's everybody doing? This is a message I want to first say uh, to the Canaanite Jews. Jesus walks with me and he works through me. Uh, what's done is done. There's no reason to cry over spilled milk. We're on to new things. It's time for you all to return home to the house of David. Period, point blank. My Jews, Canaanites, you're coming home. You're coming home. What's done is done. We're moving on. We're going on to something new. But I need my people that held on to God's promises and kept the faith and tradition. You're coming home to the house of David. Come hell or high water. I'm going to find a place for you. I already have the plans. We're going to raise it up in no time. I'm here to let you know. We're going to do something that's never been done on this whole planet. But I'm bringing my Jews home. My Canaanites, I'm bringing you guys home. Because you were the most cursed people. You guys have been through the damn struggle. You've never known a home. You've always been a wanderer, a gypsy, a nomad. It's time for you to return home to the house of David, to your rightful seats. And so, I'm going to go on to Netflix. There's a method behind the madness of what I want on this deal. First and foremost, Charlize Theron. We're doing Spotify together. We're going to do the House of David as a whole is going to do the American Experience. But then from the American Experience, I need a Spotify deal because we're going to talk about the State of the Union, which is what we gather from the people during the day when we're recording and filming the American Experience. I want the time to reflect so that we can go back. And I want Charlize Theron. I want Charlize Theron on the State of the Union, which Charlize Theron will be on also the American Experience. But there's going to be a host of other people. And I want you to understand, Netflix, that there's a vision here. There's a vision. Because the State of the Union, once I'm in office, we're going to continue the State of the Union because I have a whole bunch of FBI, CIA, which we're going to transition them to new departments. But they're going to be like the CIA is going to be World Economic Development Program. And so we're going to have all kinds of projects going on all over the world. We've already got the footprint through the CIA. So I want them coming on and I want them updating the people. I want them telling people what America's involved in because they're accountable to us. But I want them talking about the projects that they're overseeing, the House of David is attached to, all kinds of various things. I want the FBI coming in. I want them to talk about special victims, exploited people, because the American people need to understand there's a whole host of people that operate behind the scenes that are actually good people trying to do their job. And there's a very small number of people that are actually in positions of power that prevent these people from even being heard. And you need to understand that there are good people. There are good people behind the scenes, but they're just simply being prevented from doing their jobs. There's a whole host of reasons and issues behind the scenes, but we're going to weed it out. We're going to weed it out, and we're going to give these people a platform because ultimately they're accountable to you, and you need to hear what they're doing. You need to understand that there are good people behind these organizations. Now, Netflix, from the American Experience, we're going to go to a human experience, but through the American Experience, I want you to understand that I'm going to find my faithful servants. I'm going to find my disciples. And that's where I want to have a House of David series also. Now I'll appear in that, but that's largely that'll be what I'm doing abroad. And what's going to happen, Netflix, is that's really not the story. The story is going to be the disciples. The blessing that the disciples have. I don't want any money, Netflix. You can put a camera on me. I've got to do my job anyways. I don't care if I'd love to have you document it, to be honest. But the bigger story here is about the blessing. The House of David has always been the blessing, whether it be to the wives, whether it be to the disciples. The House of David is always the blessing to the nation even. And so the point here is I just want to lift people up. I'm not worried about the money. I want the money to go to the disciples, to the faithful servants, because that's how one man with 2 fish can feed 5,000. You give them the blessing and then they feed the 5,000. That's what I'm trying to do, Netflix. I'm not concerned about the money. I'm concerned about the blessing and the uplifting of my people, my faithful servants. And so with that, because ultimately they're going to have all kinds of projects, because I'm going to bless them. I'm going to bless these people. I have a list of names already. But I'm going to bless these people under the understanding that they're going to go, and they already do things in their communities, but they're people of humble beginnings. They just don't have a lot. And so it's hard to do a lot when you have very little. So the house of David wants to bless them. I want to bless the faithful servants, my disciples, that carried it on, that kept it alive, so that they can go into their communities and they can bless their communities by lifting them up. And so with that, through the American experience, I'm going to locate and introduce the various disciples and faithful servants that will then go on to be the house of David, where the blessing comes into fruition, and you get to follow them out as they do works in the world. Now, to Spotify, what I want to do is we're going to keep the State of the Union alive and well. That one's going to stay with us at the People's House, at the White House. When we first touch down, it'll be the White House, but we are going to have a People's House. I'm just here to tell you, I'm going to fund it my damn self. I don't care. I don't care. We're doing something new, people. We're moving on to something new. But with that, I want the opportunity for what would be the state of the world. That will only be recorded like once every 2 weeks, maybe once every week. But it's an opportunity where I want the world leaders to come in. I want the various royal families that are all over the place to come in, and I want to have them sit down. And I don't want to talk about business deals and all the bullshit. That's not what it's about. I want to talk to them about their families, about their hobbies, about what they do, because again, about their culture. Because a lot of people, you know what I mean? Everybody's got a unique culture, and that culture kind of forms your identity as a nation. And I want the American people to be privy to it. And people need to see that these people are just normal humans. And you need to understand that every culture, though there's some subtle differences, we're all after the same thing. And it's an important story that needs to be told so that you can identify, you can humanize people. Because right now we tend to have a tendency, we dehumanize people. And that's not what we need to do. We need to humanize them, and we need to connect with them and understand, well, they're not that different. There's a lot of unique cultures out there that I admire. One being the Russians and even the Afghanistans. They are warrior cultures, people. Your tribes of Northern Africa, these are warrior cultures. I just long have connected with the warrior culture. And so I want to sit down with people like Vladimir Putin, and I just want to talk about the culture of Russia, but I also want to talk about, I want to humanize Vladimir Putin. I want him to have an opportunity to talk about his family, about his grandchildren, about his hobbies, about what he does, about what, the transition and becoming a world leader. Because Vladimir Putin, say what you want, Russia was in a bad place, and Vladimir Putin's carried that damn place on his back. And so the story just needs to be told, whether Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, I'm open to sit down with anybody. Literally, I'm open to sit down with anybody because I just want to hear the story. And I don't want to talk about business deals. I don't want to talk about any of that. I want to talk about your culture, and I want to talk about your family, because I want people to identify and humanize you. I don't want to dehumanize anybody. The House of David is about humanizing people, because I recognize that we are all one people. We might speak a different tongue, we might be a different shade, but we're all one people. And that story needs to be conveyed. People need to connect to it to understand, man, these people really, they're different, but they're not our enemy. They're not our enemy. We're all one. And so that's why I want the Spotify deal to give way to the state of the world. And so with that, peace and blessing be upon your homes. But just know there's a vision. There's a vision here. And what I speak must come to pass. It must.